Hello everyone, this is Michael Madden. I'm a realtor with RE/MAX Unlimited Real Estate over in Schuykill Avenue in Whitehall, Pennsylvania, United States. I'm sitting here with Matt Engler, and he's just an awesome home inspection. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do a series of different topics about home inspections. So people that are first-time home buyers, or even if you're an experienced home buyer, what the process is as far as home inspections. So Matt, if you want to kind of give contact information and what your company name is and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, Allied Inspection Services, founded in 1997, locally owned and operated. Basically multi-inspector inspection firm covering all types of inspections from septic to water testing, mold testing, radon testing, radon and water testing, termite inspections. So we do it all in addition to the home inspection.
Yeah, and I actually met Matt probably about a month ago. He was doing a presentation. I had something scheduled, so I missed it, but over at our office on Schuykill Avenue in Whitehall, and I was just impressed with his passion for what he does. It's quite unusual to find somebody that really cares about what they do and they enjoy it. And that really came across a lot to me. And why don't you kind of give your background a little bit as, just a brief overview how you got into home inspection and
right,
why you like doing what you do.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know, it's a little segmented, but I guess going way back, had a newspaper route for many years, starting in 5th grade, and there was always construction going on my route, which ultimately my route grew bigger and bigger and bigger as all this construction finished and new phases started. But eventually I started working with the builder to do pre-drywall sweeping. So I go in and sweep out sawdust, nails, insulation, whatever debris was in there. And as I was in there, I was obviously fascinated seeing the skeleton and shell of a home. And I think that's just where the interest got ingrained. After high school, college, never thought much of it. And then college, senior year at a career fair, actually it was Ryan Holmes was there, and they had a job opportunity for construction manager, entrance position. And that immediately was what I wanted to do. And I thought, that's it. All these 4 years, Bachelor of Science, but that's what I want to do right there. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. Several attempts. I didn't have the right experience. I think my interviewing skills weren't quite harnessed at the time. I tried to be somebody who I thought they wanted me to be, and not myself, which I found out later. But after failed attempts at that, I did get a job in the telecommunications industry. Ultimately, in a conversation with one of my customers, he had brought up his brother-in-law being a home inspector. And it was a conversation, nothing really happened. About 3 months later, I remembered that conversation. I thought, you know what, I'm going to look into this. And then, long story short, I found Bob Hannaberry, who was the founder of Allied Inspection, and made a phone call. He agreed to meet me for lunch, and he asked me, do I want to own a home inspection company or work for one? And I said both. I go, I want to work for one to start and learn it, but eventually I'd like to own my own.
Awesome.
And he said, well, this could work because I need to sell this one day, and there's an opportunity for both of us. So we shook hands. He agreed to train me, and I guess the rest is history. 2012, the end of 2012, Brian Lingold and I, my business partner, purchased Allied from Bob. He retired and now lives in Texas.
Awesome.
So that's
well, as we were kind of preparing to do this video, I started asking different topics. Because I was a full-time real estate investor at some point in my career, so I used to do a lot of renovations, and there's so many little nuanced details and topics that people don't realize go through renovating a house, or things that are missed. So we're going to do this as a series so we can kind of break down in understandable bites different topics like mold, electric, heating systems, wells, septic, that kind of thing. One of the things that I was really impressed with was your approach to it as far as the warranty, and then also the booklet. If you want to just grab that booklet and kind of explain how this process works when somebody hires you.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest obstacles in choosing a home inspection company for a client's perspective is price.
Right.
So price shopping, we're not going to win a lot of those battles because it's hard to kind of figure out the value of what you're paying for. And one of the things that we've been very consistent with over the years has been our foundation is education.
Right.
You know, to do the inspection, to achieve an inspection, to write a report, quite honestly, you know, we all could pretty much figure it out. We had the right people training us, but it's the way that information is communicated.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the biggest emphasis with us, our inspectors, anybody we hire. If they don't have interpersonal skills, if they don't have ability to communicate and articulate findings in a manner that's, you know, neutral, truthful,
Right.
but not, you know, alarmist,
Right.
that's critical.
Right.
But in addition is education. So this booklet is designed to do that. It adds a little bit more value. There are certain topics that we cover during the inspection. Some things aren't very clear to certain people. You know, a downspout, extension, and grading is a pretty common concern we find in almost every house we enter. Most people understand what we're talking about, but in some instances it takes one illustration, one diagram to kind of clarify and drive that point home to somebody. So this book does that. In addition, it provides a lot of gray shaded boxes. All these gray shaded boxes on these 2 pages are giving you must know, must do, just general maintenance tips.
Right.
You know, I think it's becoming more and more known. You buy a home, it comes with maintenance. But to wake up April 1st, Saturday morning, and grab your work gloves and go outside and go, okay, I'm going to maintain my house. Many people have no idea where to start.
Absolutely.
So that's where this stuff comes into play. Now they know, okay, these are the 8 different things I can look for on my water heater today. This is where I should be looking outside, caulking, and where and what the grading should look like. Are my vegetations overgrowing? Are my gutters clean?
Wow,
You know,
I'm impressed.
So it's a lot of guidance. So
Right.
now they have the information, and information is power, and they'll be able to maintain the investment. I think that's the other big thing. You know, whatever the average is, 7 years you buy and sell a house.
Right.
You know, we always kind of joke at the end of the inspection that we're probably not going to see you again. You know, and that's a one-time deal. But you know, we'd love to come inspect your house every month, every year. Give us a call, we'll do it. But the reality is, it's not going to happen. But what we want to do is put them in a position so that they can maintain the value of the property, protect that asset. So by doing the little things along the way, when they sell it in 7 years, and we're back inspecting for the next buyer, there's not a boatload of defects and problems present that could have been prevented had they done the regular maintenance along the way. So that's what the big picture is. That's what this
I am
is
so impressed.
all about.
Honestly, you know, as a real estate investor and landlord, you know, cleaning the gutters out to prevent ice damming in the wintertime, things like that people don't think of because they're not necessarily involved in construction. And if you're sitting there renting a house and you're thinking about being a first-time home buyer, there are a lot of things that the landlord's probably taking care of that you're not even aware of that makes that home stay, you know, efficient and well maintained.
Exactly.
So that is very impressive that you do that.
And even people who live in condos.
Right.
A lot of people will say, well, the maintenance outside isn't our responsibility.
Right.
And the answer is true, but still, they're not out inspecting your dwelling to make sure it's okay. I mean, you can still look at your own property, find a deficiency, and then call, you know, the community or the whoever is responsible for that community center, and they can take care of it. But you have to tell them sometimes.
Right.
So still understanding the property is critical.
Yeah, so in essence, one of the things I wanted to get across in this first session was what a home inspector actually does, because there's a lot of fear in the industry as a real estate agent that a home inspector may find something that's going to prevent the deal from going through or want to kind of, you know, blow up a deal.
Sure.
Why don't you kind of address that in a way that people understand, as you know, you're protecting the consumer, but also the integrity of the real estate agent.
Yeah. No, and it's forever the fine line, the balancing act with the inspector is, you know, we have to go into a home, the problems are already there.
Right.
So I've always told the guys that I train that, you know, and it still exists, it's true, before every inspection, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little anxious.
Right.
Because, you know, I have to put on a show today in a way, you know, I have to get into this property, there are problems that exist, and the challenge is to go in and find them.
Right.
Find them, understand them, communicate them properly, and report on them. So that's critical, and that's what every inspection is designed to do. But what we need to do is put it in perspective.
Right.
And I think one of the things that's, I don't know if it's HGTV or what, but I think the perception of what a home inspection is has changed. Some of the expectations are going through the roof. You know, we're getting comments about a loose drawer handle, you know, a door that doesn't latch properly, a little piece of wallpaper peeling at the corner.
Right.
You know, and people are looking at this and is that going to be in the report? Well, the answer, unfortunately, was, yeah, sure, you're paying us, we'll put it in there. So our report library has grown over the years, and it's kind of out of control. I mean, we got reports that are 98 pages long.
Right.
And I think,
Now, is that an additional expense to the homeowner, or how does that work?
no, I mean, it's really just kind of breaking down expectation. And I think what we need to do is kind of reset and say, okay, you're buying a used house, there are going to be defects here. There's minor dings and dents that come with a used house, that come with a used car.
Right.
But what we're looking for, and the real estate agreement says it explicitly, is material defects.
Right.
And a material defect is defined as something that would have an adverse effect on the value of the property or present an inherent risk to the occupant of the building. So something very expensive, a new heating system, a structural failure, it's deteriorated siding that needs to be completely redone,
Right.
the windows are busted, whatever it is, something more costly.
Right.
Or a safety issue. You're missing a handrail.
Right.
There's no smoke detectors.
Right.
Whatever. That's safety related. You could go on and on with those. But that's really what it is. All the little dings and dents. It's important for us to relay a lot of the information to the client, but it's our job to set them up so they understand that this is part of a home, and you are going to have to basically be willing to accept this. The things that are going to impact your decision to buy the house are these big defects.
Right.
So now, with the big defects, we call them majors in our inspection report. Majors indicate something that could be more than $500. What's really critical is we're not judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
We are professional generalists, and it's really critical because there are times where we find a flaw that we're not specialists. I can't tell you 100% that this is a major structural failure.
Right.
It has signs and indications that something happened here, but I'm not qualified, and really no home inspector is qualified to say that this needs a structural repair or whatever. Now, certain things are pretty obvious, but there are many gray areas, and at that point you need a professional out there. So a lot of the major flaws that could affect someone's decision to buy a house are going to require further investigation by a specialist, whether it's a foundation expert. We have an outstanding relationship with Keystone Financial or Foundation company out of Reading, Lancaster area, do an awesome job. But even if the heating system isn't working, they need to get a technician out to figure out why.
Right.
Is it a clogged ignition? Is it an electronic issue, a loose wire, and a thermostat? It could be a $12 repair, or it could be $7,000 new system. But
Right.
if we identify that it needs further attention, you need to get a specialist. So I think really to get down to the answer to the question is really we need to kind of set the client up and help them understand that houses are going to come with their dings and dents and their flaws, but the significant items, the material defects, oftentimes are going to require further investigation by a specialist.
I think what you said is so important, because I think a lot of realtors, and then also first-time home buyers, think that hiring an inspection is a negotiating tool to find defects so they can negotiate the price there. And what you were saying, the contract is very clear. It's, if you could reiterate what it says in the contract.
Yeah, identify material defects and
Period.
something that would have an adverse effect on the value of the home. Right. Yeah. So big stuff. What is this going to? And this is another way to phrase some questions sometimes. Not that we would have, we'd be blunt and say this to somebody, but the reality is, they're having a concern about that leaky faucet over there, the drip.
Right.
Is this going to impact your decision to buy the house?
Right.
No.
Right.
Does it belong in a home inspection report so that you can negotiate for that?
Right.
Or is it in the report just so we can advise you that you have a minor thing that you should attend to once you get settled in here? So
Right.
the latter is what we anticipate. We're going to put that minor defect in the report so that
Right.
oh yeah, okay, let's get that leaky faucet trip. Not necessarily so that you're sitting there, well, you are the idiot, but the client sits with you and goes,
Right.
oh yeah, Mike, by the way, we want to get that dripping faucet fixed too. We hopefully should have eliminated that question before they get to you.
Right.
They shouldn't ask you about that.
Right.
Hopefully we've done enough on the inspection to help them understand that this is something you're going to do when you get settled in there.
Right.
I think one of the, next to would you buy this house? That's probably the most popular question we get at the end of the inspection. But the next most popular comment or remark at an inspection is they have to fix that. The sellers need to fix that.
Right.
Do the owners need to fix that? And the answer every time, 100%, I shouldn't say that, but every time the answer is no.
Right.
No one has to fix anything.
Right.
That's not what we're here to do.
Right.
We're here to assess and give you an assessment and put it in a nice, easy to read, hopefully, report. But the idea is you know, we're sharing information.
Right.
That's our objective.
Right.
And we're not enforcing it. No one's required to do that. I'm not telling you you can't ask for that. I don't know the value of the house. I don't know if you're paying top dollar for this. You know, if you're paying more than top dollar, maybe that is something you can negotiate for, but that's not our job.
Right.
But the answer to that question is no. No one has to do anything. We're sharing information with you, and it's up to you ultimately to understand it and to make that determination.
All right.
What to do with it.
I think we have time for one more
Okay.
topic to touch upon. What are some of the required inspections with different types of mortgages? Like if it's an FHA, it's a VA loan, if you could kind of touch upon some of the requirements that you're required to.
It's kind of an
Lower.
interesting kind of dovetailing those together, because our inspection, like I just said, no one has to do anything.
Right.
But with an FHA loan, a VA loan, you know, a USDA loan, they require inspections to be done, and they require repairs to be made
Right.
as a result of those inspections. So yeah, no, generally you know, not a mortgage broker really could probably spend a half hour breaking down each of these individual tests that they need to do. But the reality is, if the home is subjected to an FHA loan or appraisal, or VA, USDA, it's predominantly safety issues they're looking for.
Right.
And all of the safety issues, maybe you shouldn't use the word all, but the majority of the safety issues that they're going to identify would have already been identified in our inspection report.
Okay.
Again, the difference is the FHA appraiser is going to enforce that those repairs be made. But generally, you know, if it's on a well, they're going to be doing water testing,
Right.
Testing for bacteria, testing for lead.
Right.
And it's not lead in the water, as some people get confused. It's actually lead in the soldering of the copper piping.
Right.
And it's only in soldering that was used before 1988. But anyway, so lead testing. And then there's chemistry testing, nitrates, nitrites, manganese, magnesium, maybe something else in there. But they have a set guideline of what they're looking for. And it's usually pretty consistent from VA to FHA to USDA. Pretty much all share the same stuff.
And do you have a certification that allows you to have a distinction to even make those
No.
types of?
No, home
So it's
inspection is just home inspection. Now, what we do a little differently when it comes to an FHA loan, we do water testing.
Right.
So we use a DEP certified laboratory, ABE Laboratories in Bath, Pennsylvania. Those guys are great. Again, they're smart, they share information, they're easy to talk to. But what they've done is, because an FHA or VA or USDA loan is only looking for 5 or 6 items, our standard water test report comes with a whole host of information.
Right.
If something in that report, like calcium or hardness or something like that, or pH comes back off, it doesn't meet DEP standards.
Right.
But FHA isn't looking at it, that's not part of the requirement.
Right.
They still see that in the report, that it didn't meet DEP requirements, they're gonna make somebody do something about it.
Right.
So it was causing some issues, because some little tic-tac stuff that shows up in these water reports were triggering an FHA appraiser to say, nah, you can't go forward until you get that fixed.
Right.
So what ABE Lab has done for us is they've actually, and really more for our clients and the agents to streamline this, is they've taken out all of that other stuff. Not that we don't give it to the client, they still pay for a water test, we're still giving them that information.
Right.
But it's coming in a separate report.
Right.
So they're getting 2 reports. They're getting one report that they can send to the FHA, that's going to have the bacteria, the lead, and whatever chemistry they need. And then all of the rest of the chemistry results will be in a separate report to the client. So they still get all the information, there's 2 different pages, and hopefully nothing that will stall or delay the transaction.
All right. And briefly, if you could touch upon a little bit about the warranty. I know we're getting into a little bit of a longer time here. Or would you rather do? I think we should do it in another session, because I think this could be a whole
basically
topic. But if you can just
I can summarize it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Basically, the objective of this is we buy these to help alleviate some of the anxiety with buying a house.
Right.
Obviously, a lot's going on. You're trying to do the inspections, do all your due diligence, and then you get into the house, and that dishwasher that was beautiful, clean, 6 years old, all of a sudden started leaking and failed 7 days after you moved in.
Right.
That's unfortunate. Nobody's fault. Nobody did anything wrong. Seller didn't sabotage it. It's not even recalled. It just broke.
Right.
Well, that's what all of this is designed to do, is to help alleviate some of that. We have 4 warnings across the top.